Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and we're designingtechtips.com. Well, we've got a great little animation effect for you today. We've got an image there, and as you can see, it's sort of fading out into a blurb module, and then it's going to fade back in to the image again, and that's going to keep doing that. Really eye-catching, great little feature to have on your site. We've got to do a slight bit of code for this today, but don't let that put you off. As usual, any code that I write, I'll put down below the video. You're welcome to copy it, paste it, use it how you wish. Okay, well, let's get started. I'm going to enable the visual builder so we can build on the front end. Okay, once loaded, I'm going to go down to where we want to work. Let's add a new row. Green button for a row, blue button for a section. I'm going to make mine 2 columns. Obviously you make yours whatever size you wish. And I'm going to put a blurb module in mine. Divi comes as standard with all these light grey modules. Blue ones are from another plugin called Divi Supreme, which is awesome, but we're not using that today. So I'm going to just pop a little blurb module in there. Before I do anything, I'm just going to save it. And let's delete this row on top, save any confusion here. Okay, there's my little blurb module. Let's go in there. I'm going to use an icon instead of an image for mine today. To do that, just roll down below the text. There's the image and icon. Flip the little switch to on. Divi's just partnered with Font Awesome, so there's an awful lot of icons here. You can search through that way. You can put a search term in here. Let's just choose one while I'm here. Or if you want to look through the more easy way, there's a little button right here. Click on it, it'll pop out into a breakout box. You can scroll through that way. Like I say, there's a lot to go through there. Okay, and let's pop my text in the middle. Obviously you want to put your title in there. If I go back up to the text, we're still on the content tab. Put your title in here, whatever it is you want yours to say, obviously, and put your text in here. This is a regular text field, so you can align, bold, italicize, make bulleted lists and numbered lists, and add media in the form of images, etc. if you need to. Again, I'm going to leave mine just like that. We've added our icon right there. Obviously, if you want people to be able to click on this, even when we're flipping between the image and the module, put a link in down below here. And whether the image is showing or not, you'll still be able to click on this. You can have one for the title if you want to, but as we're fading this in and out, that's probably not a good idea. But you could certainly put one for the whole module, which would be right here. And always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site to somebody else's site, open it in a new tab. That way your site will stay open. Great, well, I'm happy with the content there. Let's just go over to our design. I want to pop everything in the middle, so I'm going to go down to text and just center align everything there. Now I'm actually going to make my text light in color. It's going to disappear into our background here. The reason I'm making it light is I'm going to give our blurb a little colored background. So I can just flip that to light. It's going to disappear. Great. Well, let's go back to our content tab now, and we'll put a background in. If we go down here under the link, we've got background. And you've got color, gradient, image, video, background pattern or background mask. I'm going to use a gradient for mine today. As you can see, it's popped one in there. If we roll down, they've just upped their gradient game with elegant themes here, so you can put in as many stops as you want. I want to make that top one, let's make that one purple. Bottom one, I'll make that blue. And let's perhaps put a black in the middle here. And to add a new stop, just simply click anywhere on the line there, and we've added a new stop. Click on the little colored dot to add the color you want. I'm going to put a black in the middle of ours. That's fantastic. That's going to work for me. So I'm fairly happy with that background color, but obviously I want to size this the way I want it. So let's go over to our design. I'm going to go to spacing. And I'm going to add, say, 50 pixels top and bottom. Just put in the 50, it'll put the pics in for you. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And let's go, say, give it 20 left and right. Great. And what we're actually doing, we want to make it the shape of the image that you want it to revolve. You know, you can make this, change the shape of it by giving it extra padding and height and stuff. Just make it the kind of shape or aspect ratio that you want your image to show. We'll be covering that in a moment. Now I'm in spacing. I'm going to close down the spacing. Just above spacing is sizing. I'm going to give it a fixed height. I'm going to say perhaps 350 pixels. Yeah, that's going to work for me. That's about the right shape. The reason I'm giving it a fixed height is that it'll work now or look the same height on both mobile and tablet. And we'll check those out in a little while and we can adjust accordingly if we need to. Great. So there's our little blurb module. Before I get out of here, I'm going to go to my Advanced tab. I'm going to go down to CSS ID and classes here. I'm going to give it a name so we can target it with some code. Now let's call it something like blurb im, because it's going to change to an image in a minute, and we'll say swap. Now you can call yours what you want. It wants to be unique. I tend to make it mean something to me as well, so if I see that code in the inspector, I know what it means. That's blurb image swap. But like I say, you can call yours what you want, but it does need to be unique. Okay, so let's save that. Now, if you've seen any of my other image to text horror effects, the way this actually works is we've got our blurb module sitting in a column here. I'm going to have it fade out. I'm going to put an image in the actual column, not as a module, just in the column that's behind it. So to do that, we click on the field here. We can go into the row, the green tab. We're working on column 1, column 2, obviously. So I'm going to go into the column. And this is where we want to put our background image in. So again, you've got color gradient image, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to click on image, add a background image. Let's perhaps use that same image as before. There he is. Now you can't see it because it's behind our blurb right there. So let's save our changes here, and now we can make the magic happen. So I'm going to save my changes down here. Once saved, let's exit the Visual Builder. Now to write the code today, you need to go down to your dashboard. Once at your dashboard, go down to Appearance and then Customize. Go ahead and click on Customize. It'll take you to this page right here. Well, actually, it'll take you to this page right here. I've set the page we're working on temporarily as my home page in the home page settings here. You don't need to do that. I've just done this purely so you can see what's going on when I start coding. But I need to refresh this page because it's still showing what we had when I first started this video. So let's refresh and get what we've got now. Great, well here's our current page. I'm going to go down to the additional CSS. This is where we're going to write our code. There's the code that I wrote initially. Let's just delete that and we'll start from scratch. It's always a good idea to give your code a title. That way, if you write a lot of code like I do, it's much easier to find. Plus, if anybody actually edits the site after you, it's a bit of a courtesy. To write a title, just put /*//. In between the two stars here, we can write anything because it won't be read as code. So it's a great place for notes and titles. So I'm going to say blurb to image. Okay, now we gave our little blurb a class name, and the class name was, all class names have to have a dot or period in front of them. So there's the dot, and the class name was blurb im swap, I believe. If I've got it wrong, this won't work. So there's the class name we gave it. Now I'm going to open and close some curly brackets here. And in between, we can tell it what we want to do. Well, I want it to animate, so I'm going to say animation. And now we need to give an animation a name. So let's give our animation, say blurb SW, for blurb swap, if you will. Again, call yours what you want. It wants to be unique though. There can only be one of these actual names right here. And the actual time we want to take to run this animation, I'm going to make mine quite slow, like 20 seconds. You can make yours faster by giving it a smaller value, like 10 or 5 seconds. or slower by giving it a greater value. And I want it to keep going round and round and round. So I'm going to say infinite. Great. Okay, well now we've told it what we want to do, we've actually got to create this animation that we call Blurb SW here. So let's drop down a couple more, and we're going to say at keyframes, because that's what we're using to build this. At keyframes. Now we want to give it that name, Blurb SW, the animation name. Now we can open and close some curly brackets. And inside, we can give it some keyframes, decide how we actually want to animate it. All I actually want to do is fade this module out so we can see the image behind it, and then fade it back in over our 20-second time period. To do that, I'm going to start off at 0%, basically when the page loads at 0% of our 20 seconds there. So I'm going to say 0%. I'm going to close some more curly brackets. I'm going to say opacity 0. Now, remember we're working on the blurb module, so if you want the blurb to show first, then put opacity 1. 1 is fully visible, 0 is completely transparent, and you can increment up 0.1, 2, 3, etc. different gradients. So I'm going to say at 0% I want the opacity. I'm going to say 0 so we've got the image rather than the blurb. That should disappear. There it is. There's our little image that we had behind there. Little semicolon there. Now I'm going to copy this twice from the 0% to that first closing bracket. Remember, our keyframes are wrapped in some curly brackets here, so you want to make sure you don't copy those. We're just working on the little percentage one in between, from the percent to that curly bracket there. I'm going to copy it, Control C, going to drop down and paste it twice. Control V to paste. At 50%, which would be at 10 seconds, I'm going to have opacity 1, which is fully visible, and it'll start animating right away actually. But we want it to be smooth animation. We don't want it to jump back from the blurb to the image like it's doing now, because it's just getting to the end and it's going to jump back. So at 100% I'm going to have opacity 0. So that way it'll smoothly scroll between the image to the blurb, then back again. And like I say, if you want it faster, we can change that to 10 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever you want. For me, that's a little bit too quick, but that might work for you. I'm going to put mine back to 20 seconds. That seems to be working fine for us. Let's save our changes by publishing up here. Great. We should be good to go. Let's go back to our page. And once I refresh this page, our little image and blur module should start animating. There we go. It's starting off with the image, starting to animate the blurb in. Remember, you can have a link on there if you want them to click on it. At the 10-second mark or halfway, it's going to start fading back out into the image again. And that's going to get people's attention pretty quickly if that starts to happen on your website. Nice little effect, really easy to do. Like I say, don't forget that code's down below the video for anybody that just wants to copy and paste it. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.